everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing extension tutorial. I'm gonna be braiding down the hair. This is a very silky type of hair, so we want to make sure that we grip correctly and neatly so that our hair can be secure to stitch our extension on. We'll be using a mix 1-pack solution here. What I mean by 1-pack solution, it means that 1 pack of hair can do an entire style or head without needing to use extra hair. Here I have my finished braided style. You can braid any style that you want to stitch this extension on. Also, any texture of hair would be able to use stitch in extensions. I have used some thread to stitch down the ends of the hair to secure it correctly and neatly. These are protective styles, so we need to make sure that our hair is clean, already washed, dried, and braided neat and secure. I'm going to be attaching my frontal piece first, rather my closure piece, or if in any other case you have a frontal, you would, that part of the hair extension goes on first, so we stitch that starting from the side. We want to go through the hair and through the lace of the closure piece, then we wrap twice around our needle and pull through. We're gonna do that right around from one side to the next side of the head. We're gonna continue until we have both right around each side secure. And then we're gonna start to apply the other pieces. So we want to start from the side of the head, from where our frontal piece ended, or begin rather. You want to stitch neatly and you wrap twice around your needle and then you pull through. Now when you're starting a stitching extension, you want to make sure that the beginning and the end of the hair that you're sitting in through the track, you want it to be secure, so you would knot it. Make sure that it have a knot, ensuring that would make it neat and secure. For this style, I normally go from under the hair, and the reason for this is because in the case of a client wanting to put their hair up in a updo or any style, you don't want the track to be showing, so I normally put the extension under the natural hair. That's on the first track. We want to run that right around under the hair, all around the hairline, under the nape, and we want to go right around to the next side of the head. So it's like we're going in a U shape, right up to the next side of the frontal or the closure, whichever one you're using. In this case, we're using the frontal, so we're going to be going right up to the next side of the head, and then we're going to turn back. Now we want to stitch um, for most of the stitching, you want to um, make sure that your stitch is neat. However, you can go through the track sometimes and not all of the times. So sometimes you can go through the track, and other times you can go under the track. So the thing is, when you're doing the stitch in, if it's too tight, like it gone through the track too tight, it normally like puts too much attention on the client's hair, the natural hair that is. And for these styles also, we can use a wig cap that will help to take some of the tension off of the scalp or the hair. But if in the case that you do not have a wig cap, this you can still do a stitching extension. So we want to make sure when we end, we want to knot our thread neatly, and then we start again. Now for these styles, you want to make sure that you have, to make your work easier, you want to make sure that you have your tools and equipments. You want to have more than one needle threaded up, and so that you don't have to stop and be exchanging, spending time to thread up the needle and so on. You just exchange when you are done with one. That helps to save time. So we're going to continue stitching our extension on. We're going to turn our track around. Some persons, we normally at sometimes we normally cut the track, but in this case I do not want to cut the track, so I'm going to turn it around, um, and continue stitching right around in the same order. We want to stitch until we have all of the braided hair covered. Every time you reach to the side of the head, you want to turn around, or if you're not um, going to turn around the track, you want to cut it then and start a fresh one. Then you want to make sure that it's secure again. So we're going through the track, wrap twice around the thread, twice around the needle, and then we pull through. We're gonna go under the hair, through the track, wrap twice, and then we want to pull through. We want to proceed in this manner until we reach the top and all of our braiding here and our scalp is covered. And when you're done, you can, whatever style you're trying to achieve, whether you want to press out the hair or um, leave it as it is, or whatever you're trying to do, you would do so at the end of the sewing in stitching of the extension. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching.